I love densely packed shows. When they cram as much good stuff as possible, the better. I also love variety in that density. I want to feel different emotions throughout the onslaught of content. And finally, I value a sense of irreverence, some self aware silliness, because if you have guessed, I'm a comedy guy. Density, variety, irreverence. These three words are how I would describe most things I enjoy in media having, and Kobayashi Maid Dragon is rife with those attributes. When defining perfection, in this context, it's not dependent on whether it has flaws, but how perfect it is for me. KyoAni's new show is my favoriteest thing in a long time. It's literally perfect. Shut up, greatest show ever. The more layers, the more stimulus, either mentally or visually, it keeps me coming back. A show like Hibike Euphonium has density in characters, Ghost in the Shell has density in ideas, and Osomatsu-san, and now Maid Dragon, have comedic density. I know that a good comedy is difficult. No amount of research can make something funnier inherently. What Maid Dragon can do with both its hilarious writing and visuals at such a fast pace is amazing. This rewards rewatching because there could be several jokes you just plain missed out on due to its pure velocity. Also, they are such well-constructed gags that you'll just end up laughing a second time. Every frame of the show gives me something. Everything feels planned and important, while the gag-like structure is a snappy and energetic constant stream of fun. The combination of a clearly impeccable source material and the craft's cream of the crop, Kyoto animation, is a match made in heaven. It's a joy to watch from an animation perspective with phenomenal character design and movement. Kobayashi herself gives the show some actual depth as well. I mean, I find myself relating to most everything she says. Other than being funny, it can be genuinely heartwarming seeing this friendship between her and her part dragon, part maid Toru grow. Experiencing Kobayashi's fulfillment and having the feeling of a close-knit family, something she has never really had, makes some scenes legitimately emotional. Tonal variety is important, especially in a slice of life, because life can rapidly tone shift. In comedies, when tonal shifts are successfully used, the metaphorical punch they give is heightened as it catches the viewer off guard when juxtaposed to the funny stuff. But the funny stuff is layered with that reality that Maid Dragon instills with all their characters, being mostly adults. I want to highlight in particular episode 8 because it hits hard with a fantastic and concise joke premise and setup that leads to real emotional payoff as well as a punchline. We get introduced to a brand new dragon, Elma, whose introduction alone is funny and inventive. As the gang is relaxing having a meal, she bursts through the window, destroying the entire apartment. Instead of anyone freaking out about the damages, Toru and Elma have this internal feud that's unexplained to the viewer. It's such a surprising and intentionally confusing entrance that it works more as serious comedy, how everyone's acting serious when what they're doing is funny to the audience. Kana is there to provide some context to the scene for Kobayashi, who acts as the audience's lens, being the normal human. Most shows would give the line that Kana does. Lady Toru and Lady Elma are on very bad terms, like cats and dogs. Okay, so these two are dragons and have been fighting each other, cool. But the show does not rest on its laurels. Yes, it made us laugh 2 seconds prior, but why waste a Kana and Kobayashi interaction without having a joke there too? Kobayashi praises Kana for using an earthly idiom like cats and dogs, telling her she's a good girl. Kana's reaction is equal parts adorable, hilarious, and quick. It's a great insert joke that isn't really needed, especially because Kana's explanation of their feud is funny by itself, saying last time they fought 3 islands disappeared, spoken in this deadpan whatever tone over some insane explosion animation. It funnels into everything I've explained about this scene, driving home the density I love so much. Everything that's happened so far has taken place in 1 minute. Admittedly, I'm getting carried away. Let's fast forward a bit where Elma eventually gets a job at Kobayashi's work. Maid Dragon doesn't waste time in unnecessary context. If it isn't funny or is unhelpful in selling a further punchline, it just won't be mentioned. So it doesn't matter how Elma got a job at some coding business with no experience, that doesn't help the setup. All we know is she has no idea what she's doing, so Kobayashi helps her out, and over time they become friends. They have a total of 3 scenes together, and already you buy the fact that they are genuinely friends now. It's concise, heartwarming, and great setup for Toru's ever-increasing jealousy. Toru is the perfect foil character, highly expressive with a hyperbolic personality. No better fit for comedy. Her thinly veiled attempt at hiding her jealousy of Kobayashi and Elma's relationship is fun to watch break down, and how she has absolutely no ability for subtlety. Why would she ever have to be subtle? She's a dragon with godlike powers. This struggle, however, is not something she can solve with brute force, so she's having trouble dealing with it. Even before we get the punchline of all this setup, it becomes clear to Kobayashi that something is up. The goofy music stops, and Kobayashi gets real with Toru. No more jokes here. Due to the fact Kobayashi is not the most socially experienced person, she doesn't exactly know what's up, and Toru even says, You can't tell? Even though to her, it should be obvious what's wrong. There's this clear distinction in how Toru and Kobayashi express things that is an interesting dynamic that could be explored. Elma's at the door though, so we pause on the emotional stuff and get the hilarious punchline being built up this whole time. Toru's menace evolving into an energy blast sending Elma into the stratosphere. Now without the few seconds prior existing and the goofy music continuing, this would be some solid payoff. Just cut out the more somber conversation and ha ha ha, it's a good time. But now with this tonal variety, there's an added layer to this funny scene. Toru's truly upset and reflexively blasts Elma out of this protective instinct for the person she loves, and make you feel something too. The goofy music doesn't return afterwards either. They not only have set up perfectly this comedic punchline, but also some sincere emotional payoff. Toru revealing her feelings of being unwanted, and Kobayashi with a response so true to life, especially to people who sit at home and make YouTube videos all day. Similar to Kumiko and Hibike Euphonium, which I have a 14.5 minute video going in depth on specifically, Kobayashi has this intentionally placed barrier she puts up to people around her, and that is a very relatable characteristic. She sits down facing away from Toru the entire time she tells her this. Talking to people about genuine feelings is clearly a difficult thing, so she doesn't look her in the eye at all, which happens several times throughout the series. This tonal variety also provides more density, just stacking up on each other, becoming closer and closer to a 10 for me. I love this show, I'm sorry. So where does irreverence play in? Well, I think it's pretty obvious this show has that, but I just need things to not be so serious all the time. It's obvious I value comedy. When I watch shows, I want to be entertained. When I listen to a song, I want it to have some fun with itself. I want lyrical variety, not just the same chorus or verse repeated. This is a pretty consistent thing with me. Maid Dragon's titles alone are peppered with some of the best sass in the biz, lending to the self-aware irreverence I look for in things. Whoever writes these is amazing. Classics like The Strongest Maid in History, Toru, well, she is a dragon. Second Dragon Kana, we're totally spoiling here. Home Visit, and Home's Not Visited. And Summer Staples, the fan service episode frankly. I love that all of it is contained in parentheticals. I consider this parenthetical person to be their own unique character of the show. This is literally every title, and it just goes to show, even in something like a title card, this anime will try to keep you smiling. That's the thing. Whenever I watch this show, it's 20 minutes straight of me having a smile on my face. Everything is so smartly woven together. All those attributes work in tandem so well. At the beginning of episode 8, it starts off with a completely different setup and joke with Kobayashi and Toru competing for who can make the best lunch for Kana's field trip. But what is magical is the emotional payoff of that joke is how close Kobayashi realized she had gotten to Toru, which perfectly flows into supporting the emotional payoff in the Elma half of the episode. We've witnessed them getting visibly closer, and now it confronts the emotional barrier that still exists. It's friggin' genius. And what does Maid Dragon do after you get all sad? It finally cuts to the consequence, or the reaction shot to the punchline of Elma face first in some dirt with Toru reverting back to her normal, exaggerated personality we all adore so much. It's a comedy show, so it won't leave you hanging on this more somber feeling, but the depth is still there. This is a good technique for most shows that have this goal in mind, and they do it a lot in this one. They do all of this while wrapping with continual transition joke plot line with Loka and Shota sleeping before the end credits. That being the benefit of adapting a manga using unrelated out-of-order things like the Loka and Shota parts, they can be interspersed to help with the flow of the episode. It's expertly crafted, everything works so well. The characters have great rapport, which I didn't even get to talk about how cool and varied all the character designs are. You get the whole smorgasbord of dragon girls with unique costumes. I think we all unanimously love Kana's gothic Lolita with tribal flair, whatever it is, adorable overload thing going on. The character relationships are genuine and more human than most anime, and most of the cast aren't even human. The show isn't over yet, so I don't want to make any major claims, but if it continues this quality, it just is my perfect anime. It might be the first show since Hunter x Hunter I'd give it 10 out of 10. It's the coolest thing ever, and what's so incredible about Winter 2017 is it might not even be the best show of the season. I'm serious, video incoming. Oh man, I love this show, and if you want to watch a video on another show I love, I mentioned a Hibike one earlier, which I recommend. Subscribe so you don't miss that incoming video that will probably take a while, and follow me on Twitter just in case that sub box crap doesn't work. I post there pretty often. I would appreciate it if you shared the video and gave it a thumbs up. It really helps. Okay, video's over. Now go and watch Kobayashi's Maid Dragon. Well, actually, first watch all my videos and then go watch Maid Dragon. Okay, I'm done here.